everyone, to another Tales of Adventure as I'm knocking things off of my bed. I hope you all had a lovely week and I have missed you all very much. I'm very happy to report that we have finally gotten to the end of testing at work, and it's been a long journey, but we are finally there. I am happy to say, and hopefully things will be less crazy on my end and just a little bit back to normal. For Mental Health May, just something that we get to do here at school, and perhaps around the country that's something that you all get to celebrate as well, and perhaps even in other places wherever you are as well. We've been sort of stepping into different stories and adventures and talking about mental health and what it means to storytelling, and especially tabletop RPGs, because that's something that I think we all kind of need to talk about a little bit more, personally speaking, especially if you're starting out as a new player or you're even a veteran and you're encouraging new players to your table. Often we don't talk about mental health and what that means to those players, especially if it's character bleed, even something as simple as what it means to role play out different kinds of mental health and different kinds of story plots. All of that can be very complicated and confusing at times, and so we're gonna tell through a folklore story that involves mental health today, and so that will be kind of fun. As we get started, I do want to say that this story does come from a North American folklore, and it involves all the complicated things that sometimes come with that. And so I do want us to be respectful as we're going through the story, as is true of many of us here in North America. I do have Indigenous heritage here. Obviously, though, I did not inherit any of that most beautiful coloring that comes with being from many of the tribes or nations here in North America. So I especially need to be respectful because I do not look at all like my heritage, and many of us white folk don't. Regardless of how much we may or may not be removed from that heritage, we are most likely not going to have any of that coloring. For me, my grandfather was Blackfoot Indian, so I'm not very far removed from that heritage, but you'd never guess it. So I have to be very respectful when I'm talking about these things, because I'm going to sound like, given how I look, like I'm being a bit of an, pardon my language, an asshat. It's a coffee and tea day. Because of how I look and how I would sound. And so I want us all in the chat too to be very respectful as we're going through the folklore today. Because I don't know you all, and obviously I wouldn't know what you look like, but you do know what I look like. And so we just don't know where everyone's come from. I'm a bit of the odd genetic sheep in my family. Didn't get any of the typical coloring of the rest of them. And that's okay, nothing wrong with that. But it does mean that I sort of sound funny when I'm talking about different experiences and heritages because I don't look like them. But I do understand a lot of what they've gone through because I've lived through many of the same experiences growing up, It's not like when some of them were asked to leave certain areas, they were like, oh, but your 5-year-old white cute daughter, she can stay, that's fine. You know what I mean? We were all kicked out together. So that's just an example of things like that. So, but obviously, if I were to try to explain that in a classroom, everyone would be like, yeah, right, Miss Chelsea, we believe you that happened. Nobody's gonna buy that in Southern California, okay? But these things do occur, and sometimes we don't look like our heritage is. It's just an interesting genetic thing that happens. A recessive gene got passed down, and okay? So we're gonna move on past that. So we are gonna talk through something from my own heritage, Blackfoot Indian folklore, that has to do with depression. So if anyone here today is experiencing that and would rather not hear that story today, I would completely understand. So I did put the name of the story in our stream title. That way, if anyone is familiar with the story and is aware of where this is going without any spoilers, you're welcome to look that up and decide for yourselves if you're able and comfortable with hearing the story today. Personally, I'm going to talk through the story exactly as it's been told to me as a kid. Exactly as I've known it. I'm not going to embellish or throw things out or turn it to too much of sort of a one-shot Dungeons and Dragons story. We're going to just pretend that someone came through the tavern and told this tale. That way we can sort of hear it in the most organic way possible. But I do know that for many of us who are working through depression and loss, that this could be an uncomfortable story tonight. So I wanted all of us to be aware going in that this may not be the story for us, and that's okay. I hope I get to still see you all next week when we move through the continents and head into the southern hemisphere into some of my more favorite stories. Personally, I love some of the stories that come from the African continent. So full of life and color. But now I'm getting ahead of myself, getting a little excited here. For today, we're gonna march through and work through this together, okay, you guys? So remember, being respectful. It's okay if this story is not for us. Just take a deep breath, come back next week for a little bit of a trickster story, and we got this, okay, you guys? Alright, so working into the tale. Last week we left off at the spine of the world. We were chasing a pale woman of purest white who steals the breath from your very body and unfortunately leaves you frozen in the snow. And it appears this is, of course, the spirit of the moon, and somehow she was cast from the sky. We have not yet determined how to assist her, but we have pacified her for now. And seeking assistance, we have gone to a local tavern. And there, while waiting for perhaps someone wiser and more in tune with the world than us, we hear a most mysterious tale. A tale of loss, a tale of the spirits. For in this part of the world, it's not unusual for ghost stories to be told in the darkest of nights, when the polar evenings grow long and the lights begin to fade. And so, the tale to be told begins thus. There once was a man who loved his wife most dearly. But after they had been married for a time, and they had had a small wee boy, the woman grew quite sick, and she did not get better. Sadly, she was sick for a very, very long time. The young man loved his life so dearly, he did not wish to take a second. But the woman grew worse and worse, and doctors seemed to not be able to do her any good. At last, she died. Some days after this, the man took the young baby on his back and traveled out away from his village, walking over hills, crying, mourning. He felt so bad, and he did not know what to do. After a time, he said into the silence, "My little boy, you will have to go and live with your grandmother. I shall go away and try to find your mother and bring her back. Yes, I can bring her back." He took the little baby to his mother's lodge and asked her to take care of it and left it there with her. Then he started away, not knowing where he was going nor what he should do. When he left the camp, he traveled toward the sand hills. On the fourth longest night of journeying, he had a strange dream. He dreamed that he went into a little lodge in which was an old woman. This old woman said to him, "Why are you here, my son?" And the young man replied, "I've been mourning day and night, crying all the while. My little son, who's the only one left me, also he mourns." "Well," said the old woman, "for whom are you mourning?" The young man answered, "I mourn for my wife. She died some time ago, and I'm searching for her." "Oh, I saw her. She passed this way. I myself have no real power to help you, but by that far rock over there lives another old woman. Go to her, and she will give you power to continue your journey. You could not reach this place you are seeking without help, though. Beyond the next rocks from her lodge, you will find a camp of ghosts." The next morning, the young man woke and went on towards those next rocks. It took him a long summer's day to get there, but he found no lodge, and so he simply lay down to rest. Again he dreamed. He saw a little lodge in his dream and saw an old woman come to the door and heard her call to him. He went into the lodge and she spoke to him. "My son, you are very unhappy. I know why you've come this way. You look for your wife, who is now in ghost country. It's a very hard thing for you to get there. You may not be able to get your wife back, but I have great power and I will do for you all I can. If you act as I advise, you may succeed." She told him what he should do. Also, she gave him a bundle of mysterious things that would help him on his journey. "Stay here for a time, and I will go over there to the ghost camp and try to bring back some of your relations who are there. It's possible for me to bring them back. You may return there with them, but on the way you must shut your eyes. If you should open them and look about, you would die. Then you would never come back. When you come to the camp, you will pass by a big lodge, and they will ask you, 'Where are you going and who told you to come here?' You must answer, 'My grandmother, who is standing out here with me and who told me to come.' They will try to scare you. They will make fearful noises, and you will see strange and terrible things, but do not be afraid." The woman went away, and after a time did come back with one of the man's relations. He went with them to the ghost camp. When they came to the largest lodge, someone called out and asked the man what he was doing here. But he did as the woman had told him. As he passed on through the camp, all the ghosts tried to frighten him with many fearful sights and sounds, but he kept a strong heart. Presently, he came to another lodge, and the man who owned it came out and spoke to him, asking, "Where are you going?" The young man said, "I am looking for my dead wife. I mourn for her so much that I cannot rest. My little boy keeps crying for his mother. They've offered me other wives, but I do not want them. I want the one I am searching for." The ghost said, "It's a fearful thing that you have come here. It is very likely that you will never go away. Never before has there been a person here." But still, he was welcomed inside the lodge. And this chief ghost said to him, "You shall stay here for 4 nights, and you shall see your wife, but you must be very careful, or you will never go back. You will die here in this place." Then the chief ghost left the lodge and created a vast feast, inviting the man's family and other relations who were in the camp to come and join, saying, "Your son-in-law invites you to this feast," as if he meant that the son-in-law had died and become a ghost and arrived at the camp as a ghost. Now, when various spirits had reached the lodge, they did not wish to go in. They whispered amongst each other, "There's a person here, a living person." It seemed as if they did not like the smell of a human. So, sweet pine was burned on the fire, which cast away the smell, and then everyone came in and sat down. The ghost said to them, "Now pity this son-in-law of yours. He is looking for his wife. Neither the great distance nor the fearful sights have weakened his strong heart. You can see how tender-hearted he is. Not only he mourns because he has lost his wife, but he mourns because his little boy is alone with no mother. So pity him and give him back his wife." The ghosts whispered amongst each other, and one of them said, "Yes, you shall stay here the 4 nights, and then we will give you a sacred pipe, the worm pipe, and we shall give you back your wife and help you back to your home." And then, when the nights had passed, the chief ghost called everyone together, and they came, and with them did come the man's wife. And one of the ghosts beat upon a sacred drum, and followed him as another carried the worm pipe and gave it to him. The chief ghost advised, "Be careful. Tomorrow you and your wife will start on your journey homeward. Your wife will carry the medicine pipe, and for 4 days, some of your family will go along with you. During this time, you must keep your eyes shut. Do not open them, or you will return here and be a ghost forever. Your wife is not now a person, but in the middle of the 4th day, you will be told to look. And when you have opened your eyes, you will see that your wife has become a person and that your ghost relations have vanished." Before the man went away, a last piece of advice was offered to him. When you get near home, you must not at once go into the camp. Let some of your remaining family know that you have come. Ask them to build a sweat house for you. go into that sweat house and wash thoroughly, leaving no part, however small, uncleansed. If you fail, you may die. There is something about the spirits that's difficult to remove. Can only be cleansed by sweat. Take care and do what I tell you. Do not whip your wife. Do not ever strike her. If you do, she will vanish and return here. They left and went to return home. And on the 4th day, the wife said to the husband, "Open your eyes." He looked about him and saw that those spirits that had traveled with them had vanished, and that he was standing in front of the rocks of the old women's lodge. She came out of her lodge and said, "Give back those mysterious medicines whose power helped do what you wish." And so the man returned them, and once more returned as a true living person, and thus as did his wife. And when he did return to camp, he did take that last bit of advice and remember to sweat the spirit world from his body. And to this day, even, the great worm pipe is considered a sacred relic among the people. And perhaps, too, this story helps teach us a lesson. That sometimes, in our grief, we can still accomplish most incredible things. And you never know. Sometimes it can take us on incredible journeys. Okay, so I'm going to set up our watercolors and let's see what we can paint here tonight together. I'll be back and let's see if I can time myself in less than 1 minute and beat my 2-minute record. See you all quite soon. Welcome back, everyone. So I hope you all are doing well this lovely Friday afternoon into evening. Okay, I think I've got our audio music going just right. Excellent. Okay. So what did you all think of our story that we heard in our tavern there this evening? Was that a good story, I hope? It was one of my favorites as a kid. I was a bit strange. I wasn't afraid of ghost stories. But I don't know if that one's quite a ghost story as we think of it, because it's not quite the same as like Bluebeard, for example, or some of the really scary ones like some of the Edgar Allan Poe stories. Those could be quite frightening, but this one's not quite the same. It has ghosts in it, but I don't think it's really meant to frighten so much as, I guess, teach a lesson. So yes. All right. So as we're still kind of thinking through that and maybe recovering a little bit. I would like to show you the painting we were working on last week. We were working through the misty fogs of the spine of the world. It looks so different, doesn't it? After it dried and we got through all of that mist. What's so fun about playing around with mist and water and just sort of waiting to see how different rocks and shapes will play out is you kind of don't really know what you're going to end up with until you just sort of throw it out there, and then later you're just like, huh, that was cool. So I really like how this one kind of turned out. Oh, I realized while I was looking at it, I was like, oh, there's something stuck on there. I want to grab that, and then let go with both hands instead of just one. It happens. So yes. I think last time we had like the background kind of fuzzy stuff. We were starting to do the foreground and the rocks, but I don't think we fully did kind of the echo reflections. I suppose reflections kind of are an echo, but on a visual plane instead of an auditory one. It's kind of interesting how my brain just picked up on that. It's one of those days. But yes, so this is what we've got going on right now. Yeah, I kind of like that from before. Okay, so we're going to keep working on this one. Earlier this week, and I realized it's why I keep adjusting it is because it's actually on the board crooked. That's on me. So I've been doing a lot of the wash on the background, and so now we're going to go in, and something got stuck on there. That was weird. And we're going to keep adding in some details and just sort of see how far we can get before I need to stop and maybe let it dry for a little bit. And, just kind of see how that goes. Yeah. I see you all are very quiet tonight. I hope you all are doing well. Hey, I was curious, for any of you gaming fans out there, oops. I am curious who is getting the Zelda game this weekend, or it's already come out yesterday, hasn't it? So are you, first of all, into Zelda, and is that something that you've already bought and possibly playing? I'm curious. I'm very curious about what you all are into these days, because personally, I don't think I've ever played. I've watched people play Zelda, but I know that's like the thing right now, is to sort of be working through that. So I'm just kind of curious about what's going on in the gaming world. I see Cameron is hanging out with us tonight, and possibly some new friends that I haven't seen before. So Cameron, you just got Zelda, right? You're probably playing and not paying attention. Just kidding. You would never do that. I'm going to darken up this rock first because I had some trouble with doing the rock before because everything else was so wet and it kept bleeding. So I think I'm going to have to possibly change what I wanted to do, even with like the background of things, because it just got so, like, you can see there's all this weird stuff happening around the rock. I think I'm going to have to like go back in and I don't even know how I'm going to fix that. But something's going to have to give. We shall see. We shall see. I try not to assume that there's going to be sorry. I'm getting messages from something else while this is happening. Sometimes I feel like it's not a good idea for me to have the music here, because then I see like stuff pop up and I'm like, huh, that's interesting. The ADHD brain is like, ooh, notifications. Wait, refocus. Painting is good. Remember that you're doing things right now. Anyways. Do. Ugh. I don't know if you all just have itches in strange places, and then you're just like, why? But I always end up with strange itches, like, just right in my ear. I'm always just walking around scratching my ears, and people are like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, but my ear is always itchy. It's very odd. It's just one of those things, I guess. Okay. Kind of actually don't like this rock formation. I'm having feels. I might end up changing the shape. We shall see. We shall see. Anyhoozle. Let me... Ooh, that's another thing I can do is... start to kind of darken things up with a shadow. Yes, I think like right in here, possibly up here. I want it to be kind of misty because the thing about the cold lands and stuff like that is that even when there's not actively snow on the ground, everything's kind of just got this icy sheen to it. It's like year round. So, and this is kind of like in a dream world state. So I don't want things to be like too much of a line. Definitely kind of want to mix it up. Okie dokie. And then I definitely want to like blend things here a little bit more. And you know me, when in doubt, use your fingers. Fingers fix everything. Oh, hey Cameron, how are things going with your cat? I don't know if you can hear me right now or not. Sometimes my audio randomly goes out and I don't even notice. That happened one time. And my mom was actually watching the stream and she didn't say anything in the chat. She just let it go on for like an hour. And later she was just like, by the way, your audio died. And I was just like, thanks for nothing, Mom. Just letting it go on that way. Didn't say anything. Totally could have fixed it. Mothers, what you gonna do? I only thought about that because it's Mother's Day in a couple days. And I just needed to share my Mother's Day woes. Anyways. Totally random, like, thoughts from the abyss. But I do want to know how the kitty cat's doing. I do want to know that. Not just randomly proselytizing. I do want to know. Oop, that's not the right color. Gosh darn it. I was like, a nice misty color would be fun. Not that one. Nope. Let's just wash that out. That's fine. Okay. Some nights we're chatting, some nights we're chatting to ourselves. Either way, it's fun. Ooh. Actually, looking up into the camera, randomly staring at the... Just a second, having thoughts here. Where's my, like... There it is. Ignore the random test bookmark. Okay. I like... Kinda looks like a mirror. That's fun. Huh. Interesting. I wonder. If only the woodpecker sighed, the barks on the trees was as dark as the skies. Did you guys ever watch that movie as a kid? That was literally my favorite movie for years. Had no idea, no joke, had no idea it was a book. I know, shame on me. But it genuinely was like the absolute favorite for the longest time. For those of you who didn't catch that, that was Holes. I just realized a lot of us probably remember Holes, but we might not remember one random song from Holes. Sorry. It's just how my brain works. Yes, I loved that movie. It had like all my favorite characters, or not characters, actors in it too. As much as I can really say that I have favorite actors. Like, baby Shia LaBeouf is in there. Who's that crazy guy? I don't remember his name now. He's in there. That one actor from Psych's in there. I don't remember any of their names. I'm really terrible at remembering actors' names. I'll remember what they've played. I'll be like, oh yeah, that's the guy from fill in the blank. No idea what their name is. Couldn't tell you. They're just the dude from that show. That's all I've got. Case in point, for years, literally years, my mom and my brother, so mean, had convinced me. I have no idea why they've decided that this was like the prank they should pull, but they did. Had convinced me that I don't even remember what the other actor's name is, but it was William Shatner and whoever plays I want to say Bones or something like that on the original Star Trek. Now, given back in the old days of the 60s, they didn't look anything alike, right? So in my head, I really still kind of see them as their original selves. And that's kind of just all they'll be to me in my head, is that's them. But now that they're older, they kind of look similar. Similar height, similar build, even similar haircuts, and so I get them confused. Who's who here, betwixt the two? And I know one's Captain Kirk and the other's something from the exact same show. So that it definitely isn't like Star Trek and the other's Next Generation or something like that. It's definitely, they were both from the original Star Trek show. I can't remember who the other one is now. It's gonna drive me nuts. But they, every time they would like come on, even like commercials or something, they would like, I'd be like, wait, is that one? Or is he? And they would like convince me it was the other. So mean. So mean. I'm still mad about it. Still salty. Can't believe they did that. Like, I'm like years of this. Rude. So rude. All because I can't tell actors apart. Honestly, that was probably like one of the earliest signs that like I had dysgraphia is I couldn't tell them apart. Like, yes, friend, your child has a visual impairment. You can't tell certain people apart when they look too similar. Like, maybe you should get a neurodivergent diagnosis. Nah, it's fine. The other week, I asked someone to like help me with these bookmarks because they looked weird to me. I was like, I don't know why, but these bookmarks just look wrong. And they were like, I don't understand what feedback you want. These bookmarks look fine to me. Like, is it something about the composition you don't like? Or like, did you want to use different colors on them? Like, what's the problem? And I was just like, I don't know. They just look weird. And then I came back to it the next day and I was just like, oh, never mind. They look fine now. Dysgraphia sucks, guys. It's literally the Feywild bookmarks in the shop, if anyone's curious. And one day I was just like, I don't know, there's something wrong with these bookmarks. There was nothing wrong with them. I just couldn't see straight. It happens. Yep. I've had days where I've like tried to put my glasses on and I'm just like, my glasses are on crooked. And I'm just like, oh, never mind. It's just me. I'm crooked. Grrr. Combine that with dyslexia and dyscalculia, life gets interesting. It's actually kind of amazing that I can even play tabletop RPGs when you think about it. Like, how am I even functional to a taping cable? Can't see the dice numbers. Can't see the handouts properly. But I do laugh a lot, so I must be having fun. Someone's doing something right. Not sure if it's me. Confused half the time. It's okay though. As long as you're having fun, that is the most important part. Okay. I'm gonna let this rock formation dry here a little bit. Whole thing's still bothering me. Speaking of things being lopsided. But, sorry. I think it's this. I don't know. Actually, don't know. Maybe it's this that's bothering me. Watch, I'm gonna pull this whole thing out and then I'm gonna hate it. It's supposed to be like rocks stacked on top of each other. Sorry, there's like this fly that suddenly just like wants to be best friends. Like, no, I don't want to be friends. Please go away. I am gonna need to like like it. Something's just weird. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. Something's just off. But that does seem better now, I guess. Sort of. I'm like annoyed and I don't know why. Someone in the chat, tell me why I don't like this rock. That's such a weird request. Be my eyes and ears. I am apparently blind. Why am I annoyed at it? Maybe it's because it's sloping too much. Does it need to not slope as much? I'm gonna end up working this thing into some unintelligible shape. I'm gonna slap a fly silly here in half a second. Okay. I'm getting annoyed. I'm using a lining brush right now because I don't want to like overdo it and then be like, nope, I take it back. Because I kind of can't take it back. I'm just stuck like this. Oh, Sometimes you'd have to see it from a distance. And what's kind of nice about being able to paint with all of you is I can look down here and then look up here and be like, actually, yes, I do like the rocks like this now. Huh, maybe that's all it wanted, is just a little bit more something. Who knows? It's just so flat. Did I want that to be flat? Maybe I did. Who knows? Who knows now? Maybe I need... I need more rocks. That's what I need. When in doubt, make more. Okay. It's true, typically in the wild, as if rocks just grow out in the wild, you wouldn't, and there is kind of like this blobby shape here that kind of wants to be a rock, you wouldn't just see rocks just hanging out all on their lonesome. They do tend to sort of grow as much as rocks grow. They do kind of come in like groupings. So we're gonna give him some friends. When things are more dry, I'm gonna have to like go in and add layers to things, layers of color. But I just kind of want to like, I don't know if you can even see this on the camera, maybe not. But right now I'm just kind of like giving things just a dark enough kind of watercolor layer so that when things dry, I know where to go back in and give it some love. So I know where the love goes. I even end up with another little rock right there. That would be cool. Things are getting cool. Yeah. Happy little rocks. Rocks are happy and friends. No wonder he was so sad. He didn't have any friends. Aw, poor guy. Okay. No wonder I felt angsty. I was just like, why does the rock all by itself? Okay, just kidding. Now I feel like there needs to be a rock there. Urgh. Brain, why do you do this to me? We're gonna make it a small rock though. Just a little guy off the lists. Baby rock. Baby rock doo doo. Oh no! I such a record going without that song. Gosh darn it. Last summer when I was teaching my little I want to call them fourth grade, but they're not. My 4-year-old autism kiddos. I had one where if I wanted him to do literally anything, I had to play Baby Shark. I must have played Baby Shark like 50 times a day. I feel like I'm exaggerating, but wow, there was a lot of Baby Shark going on, and I would literally fall asleep with Baby Shark in my head. There was Baby Shark, so much Baby Shark. Oh lordy, Baby Shark cometh. It was a lot. So yeah, there was one point where like that was all I heard in my head. I don't think I even had other songs get stuck in my head there for ages. It was just Baby Shark. Baby Shark doo 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 doo. Did you know that they've made like Baby Shark for seasons? Because they have. Yeah. I just need you to know there's like animated versions of Baby Shark for every season of the year. Just in case you were curious. So much Baby Shark. So much. More than I ever knew was possible. The joys of special ed. Oh boy. So yes. I always have trouble doing leaves in any other direction than that, so I'm gonna turn slightly here, and we're all gonna get to see this from a slightly different perspective for a few minutes while I do my best effort to create some leaves that are going this way, because I do need them to kind of come like that. Okay. And then we can layer some leaves. So I want there to be a tree up on top of this rock here. So I know it's kind of quiet and shy in the chat tonight, but feel free to throw in any questions you might have at any time about any of the stories we told in the last week or two, or anything we told tonight. We can chat about Mental Health May. Always happy to do some chatting. Or you all can just listen to me chat and sing Baby Shark Doo Doo. Just kidding. That would be not great for our mental health, I think. Unless you like really want me to do Baby Shark. Totally will. No one's telling me to stop. Just kidding. Maybe I'm not kidding. I don't know. Sometimes I don't know anymore. Okay. Once things dry, because it's probably going to dry really light, I'll probably go back with some really pale, or not pale, darker colors, and a smaller brush, just to kind of fill in some gaps and really kind of cover some of those things and figure out where I want stuff to go. Excuse me, that hiccup like came out of nowhere. My goodness. Usually you have some like indication that hiccups are gonna come out, and then that was just like, nope. Surprise. Okay, now that I know that's happening, my goodness. Actually, sorry, I don't normally snack and stream because I consider it a bit like eating during a conversation, right? Because we're interacting and conversing, and I definitely don't want to be sitting here eating while we're all hanging out together. I mean, obviously if friends go out to lunch, that's different. But, you know, we're here having a conversation together. We should be respectful of that. But I haven't eaten today. So, sorry. I'm actually starving. Okay. I'm gonna start layering in some pale white. For realsies this time. I'm gonna use the watercolor. I'm gonna turn slightly. Sorry guys. Because we are still up in the spine of the world, and I kind of want there to be this bit of like snow to things. And then I'm gonna go out, come back, and kind of like wash it out a little bit. Right now I'm just kind of easing it in. Snow kind of like puddles in places, right? And there is gonna be kind of like this bit of a shadow, so eventually I'm gonna go back in and like take care of all this shadow. But right now I kind of just want to take care of like, where is snow gonna end up? I think I'm gonna actually go in with gouache too later on, and just kind of create this sense of just like fallen snow. I love the way that when you work with gouache, you get this sort of like yeah, there can be like a bump there. That's kind of cool looking. It just sort of like floats and kind of falls. So I think I'm gonna do a bit of that later too. Stupid fuzzies. I don't even know where all these fuzzies are coming from. It's not from the paper, I can tell you that. There's just these stupid fuzzies somewhere. Ceiling, are you giving me fuzzies? You better not. Coming from somewhere, dang fuzzies. Anyways, this week on Mysterious Things Happening in the Art Studio, fuzzies mysteriously appearing on the watercolor paper. Last week it was rabbit hair. Although, to be fair, I did pick up a rabbit. So that happened. But she was throwing things all over the place. Little dum-dum. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Okay. Lordy knows what is wrong with that rabbit. I love how there was like this little bit of darker white that kind of like puddled in here. That's kind of fun. Little bits of puddling snow. Yeah. Let's see if I can make that happen again somewhere else. Just little bits of... Get it to kind of start to puddle in places the way snow should. And then kind of like... Snow's supposed to sort of like puddle. Even when it's melting, you'll find like little puddling pieces of... Comment for any published book? What? I'm gonna have to go check that out. again with the notifications when I'm not supposed to be. I'm being a very rude host tonight. Snacking, staring at notifications. Shame, shame, shame. Okay. Ooh, I'm seeing the little beginnings of like where I might want to plug in some little bits of like, yeah, this is gonna be fun. Grass, sorry. You're like, little bits of what, Chelsea? Say the words! Yeah, I know. Sometimes the brain is just like, no words for you, just thoughts. I don't know if any of you have ever seen that like dog meme where the dog wants you to throw the ball, but it won't give you the ball, and it's just like, no take, only throw. That's my brain sometimes. It'll be like, oh, cool thought, share thought. And you're like, okay, have words now? And it's just like, no. No words, only share thought. You're like, cool, thanks brain. Very helpful. Yeah, this looks really cool. Look at all of those little guys. It's a little crooked in there, but I can fix that. Okay, I'm gonna do a little more. And then I literally am starving, so I might just call it, especially since we're not big chatters tonight. Sorry guys. I love you either way, but I'm hungry. And I know you must be getting hungry too, wherever you are. 'Cause if it's like 6 p.m.-ish on the West Coast here, I can only imagine how late it is over there, wherever you all are. And at some point, we all gotta eat. Oh, there we go. A little bit of smudge to that. Okay. I think a lot of white here, but I feel like the way snow kind of like falls in these drifts, there kind of would be just like this big ol' fly. I'm warning you. You land in my watercolor. There's no coming back from that. Like literally, no coming back. I don't think I'd even try to rescue him. I'd just be like, meh, sucks. Although I'd be really, really upset that watercolor was a goner. Okay. Yeah, that's a little crooked, but I can fix that later with some shadow and stuff. Again, watercolor crooked on thing. Okay. Before I go though, because I'll probably forget later, I would like to put in some of these branches and things. Where's my, here it is. And I'm gonna go in with some, I know, shocker, Payne's Gray. I was using black earlier because I wanted kind of that darker, but I feel like Payne's just works a little bit better as kind of like a cursory, I don't know what I want to do yet. Here's just some light stuff, you know? And we will go in with some browns later and kind of do that. So when things kind of grow on rocks, they tend to sort of do this like, I haven't put the brush down yet. I'm just gesturing. They sort of kind of have this like interesting sort of like everything interweaves into the trunk. So I'm just gonna put a dot here. So I don't think that shows up on the camera, but this is sort of like my roots need to aim for that destination kind of dot, so that I kind of know where I'm going. And then everything just kind of... That way, no matter what happens with stuff, there's kind of like an understanding, as it were, that things need to kind of come up here. This is where it all kind of goes. And a lot of this will probably get washed out as we're continuing on the rocks. And that's another reason I like to use Payne's Gray, is because if it does get washed out, it's like not the end of the world. It's such a pale color. I'm really just there to like throw some stuff out so I kind of know what I want to do and where I'm going with things. You know, I have like a goal in mind of how it should look eventually, and I can kind of like plan out stuff, you know? But I'm fully aware that a lot of this is like not gonna make the cut, and it's not a big deal. Okay. And then, of course, this branch will need to like come up and do something to like be a part of things. Okay. And there'll be something up there doing stuff. Okay, so now we kind of have an idea of where branches and whatnot will go eventually. And yes, a lot of the snow kind of paled out as it dried, but that's because it was white watercolor, and white watercolor tends to dry very... let's go with nondescript. That's why we use gouache. And I will come back in and patch that up a little bit. But I want things to sort of dry out. I want to see how pale things are going to get before I kind of look at how things lie for the moment and figure out what I want to do kind of from here going forward. Yeah, so we'll see kind of how that goes. I'm liking how a lot of this shading is falling out, and then we'll kind of like see how the mist disappears and extends and whatnot. It looks pretty good so far. I was a little worried there with that rock. That at first I was just like, ooh, sketchy, and I might still make this one a little bit bigger. We'll see. Or maybe there'll be something like behind it. I'm kind of seeing one like behind back there, but we'll see. Things like play out over time, and then you're just like, haha, that was fun. So anyways, thanks for hanging out tonight, whether you were chatting or just lurking in the background enjoying the music and the watercolors. And thank you for listening and being so respectful of our different backgrounds and having some fun in this mental health May. Tomorrow, most likely, fingers crossed, unless I sleep through it again. Sorry about that. we're gonna do some bookmarks for Mother's Day. I'm gonna create her some, my mother, not your mother, my mother, sorry, your mom's on your own. I'm gonna create my mother some bookmarks because she's been wanting to check out bookmarks for her books. So I'm gonna surprise her for that. And if there's time, I would like to show you all how I like to wrap things for stuff like that. I picked up some vellum, and so we're going to practice wrapping bookmarks. That part scares me a little bit. Wrapping things this small is scary, guys. So scary. They're just tiny. Anyways, so we're gonna try that out, see how it goes. So doing things with wax is always fun, and we'll get to try that out again. So yeah, that'll be tomorrow, hopefully, or very early, bright and early Sunday morning, depending on how things go. I know, I'm so wishy-washy. Shame. Anyways, and that is not a mental health thing. That's just the ADHD. Can't blame that on May. I wish. Anyways, so thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you all quite soon. Join us next week as we head into lovely tales of the continent of Africa. We'll be dealing with tricksters and other mysteries out in the desert sands. And some of my favorite stories, no secrets revealed. I wish I could tell you. Oh, these are some of my favorite tales of childhood. Having so much fun here with these folklore tales. Also, if any of you have some folk tales that you would like to have mixed up into something new, please do let me know, because as fun as I love just researching different folklore and stories and twisting them up, sometimes I do run out of ideas, so feel free to throw me some stories. I would love to hear some of your favorite tales that I can twist into things, and you never know, you might just introduce me into something new. And that's kind of what we're all about, is sharing tales together and learning something new about each other's cultures and different backgrounds. So that's that, and hope you all have a lovely weekend, and don't forget to feed that inner storytelling mimic. Have a lovely day, you guys.